West Island Republican Senator Arlen Meekhof served as a township supervisor and was president of a local school board before his election to the Michigan House in 2006. Elected to the Senate in 2011, he is the majority floor leader. He serves on 5 committees, including elections. Senator, good to see you again.
Good to see you.
First question for Mr. Ballinger.
Okay. Any ramifications in the state Senate of Congressman Rogers' decision not to run for re-election?
Well, it certainly does open it up for a number of folks that are elected officials now, including my friend Joe Hume, Senator Marlowe, former Majority Leader Bishop. So I think there's opportunity for some of our folks to look at it. I think Rick's comments about what do they want to be when they grow up, they're deciding that right now. And I've seen a lot of grown-ups. I'm really not impressed with all of them, but I think these folks have some great qualities, and I think if they decide to run, we're going to have a great congressman.
You don't think that's going to compromise your ability to hold on to those seats if Marlowe or Hume or one of those people?
Well, we'll then field some more candidates, and I still think we'll be successful.
What do you want to be when you grow up?
What do I want to be when I grow up? I want to be a grandpa rocking on my porch with my grandkids, because they live in a great Michigan because of all the great public policy we've passed.
So you're announcing that you're not running?
No, that's not it.
I misinterpreted that. Do you want to be the new majority leader?
Well, we have a majority leader right now, Randy Ridgeville, and he's doing a great job.
But say
my task is run the legislative agenda, make the trains run on time. You've watched it from the floor, and as a Senate Finance Chair for the campaign committee to make sure that we have all the funds that we need so our candidates are successful.
Be honest with me, Senator. You are interested in that spot if there is an
That's
opening.
not my focus right now.
Well, I know it's not your focus. I'm asking you, are you interested?
I think that we will. Leadership is earned, and if that's an opportunity, that's way down the road, and we have to come back in majority before anybody should be able to talk about that.
Well, that depends a lot on whether you have the size majority you have right now, which is huge, 26-12. I mean, let's say you lose 4 seats, and maybe a lot of those were pro-Meekhof votes. Somebody else could sneak up behind you and steal the majority leadership from you.
That's quite a premise, Bill. I think again we got to come back in a majority. I'm very confident in our candidates. We are doing an excellent job with our recruitment and our message, and I believe people are recognizing the stuff that we've been able to do with our legislative partners and the governor has put Michigan in a great place for our kids and our grandkids.
You're going to have as many as 26 seats again, you think?
I think that would be, everybody would have to do everything exactly right for us to come back at 26.
What is your biggest concern as you assess the political landscape? When you look out and try to figure out how you're going to make everything go right?
My biggest concern is with our candidates. Are they going to be able to message correctly? Are they going to be at all the pie eating contests and at the fair and everything that they need to do to make sure they're in touch with voters? Because that, I think, gives voters the most confidence when they like the candidate. And I think that's one of the challenges that we have, because we often, as Republicans, talk about the numbers and the atmosphere and things like that. People to vote for you, they have to like you.
When you talk about a message, what is the message?
The message is Michigan is on the mend.
It is?
It is. We've lost over 1 million people over this decade, and I believe our friends, our neighbors, our family members who have left for other pastures because they had opportunities, they're going to want to come back to Michigan because it's a great place to live.
What about messaging around some things that haven't been as popular, like the pension tax, I know it's referred to, or things like this social issues that are popping up, and right to work that went through?
Right to work was my bill, by the way, which I'm very proud that the governor signed. I actually thought we wouldn't get to talk about that till maybe my second term, but I thank Bob King and others for helping us get that done. I've appreciated working with this governor, and I will just say, if you take this last legislative body against any legislative body in the last 30 years, it's wildly successful. The things we've been able to do in terms of setting Michigan's finances in the right place, we're doing a terrific job at that with the governor. And of course, as a CPA, he's very good at it as well. But I think the financial things of where Michigan was to where we are has given people confidence, and it shows in some of the bond ratings and things.
Senator,
that we're getting
put yourself in the shoes of a typical citizen who looks at large contributions from major funders, and you have passed legislation which basically puts a shadow over that. We can't find out who those people are. Speak to the citizens who think, you know what, I'd like a little transparency.
Well, the piece you're talking about, Senate Bill 661. So in that premise, you have to understand it's already been ruled by the Supreme Court. If you're going to donate in that way, that's your free speech right, and you shouldn't be infringed upon that. So I think
actually, the Supreme Court also said that states could regulate that if you want to, and you chose not to.
And we chose not to. That's right.
And so back to my question: to the citizen who wants transparency, what do you say to them?
We put inside of that language, everybody who spends money out of there has to be able to, if they do a commercial, says who paid for the commercial and some way to get the contact.
Paid for
what
the
organization?
The individual.
Yes.
Paid
And
for the
that goes for every candidate and every one of those.
But it still
parties.
doesn't get to the point of who is signing the check.
Well, that is already protected, and that's what I'm telling you. It's already protected.
Well, protected by how?
Because the Supreme Court has said that's your free speech right.
You keep saying that, but that's not what the Supreme Court said. The Supreme Court said states could regulate it, and you chose not to.
And we chose not to.
And so you're against transparency.
No, I'm not against transparency.
Well, do you want to tell them?
In the legislation, it says, if you get a robocall or you get some sort of commercial, the group is identified and some way to contact them, and that is transparent.
I sense in the business we're drilling a dry hole here, but let me try once more. If people are spending a lot of money on politics, individuals, don't the citizens have a right to know that?
They do. Through all of our campaign finance and things like that, the people that give money directly to us and our PACs and things like that, fully transparent. This is separate free speech. And the Supreme Court has also ruled that giving money to a candidate or an issue is free speech.
When you talk about your accomplishments as a Senate, a legislature, and a governor, what's left undone? Are you focusing on any issues right now between now and the end of the year, or you pretty much packed it in? This is it. You've done it all, and you're not going to do anything that might be controversial between now and the election.
Well, that would be the premise most people would think. But I do believe in this next week or two as the roads begin to thaw and heave and frost and we get some rain, the citizenry is going to say, when are you going to do something about roads? What's the solution? I believe we're going to find a bipartisan solution. I mean, you guys are all going to be shocked at this, I think. But I think we're going to find a bipartisan solution that people say, look, we can save some money here. We can do some different things in the bonding, construction of the roads, holding those accountable. Maybe we change the tax on the wholesale level and do some different things. And then as the economy grows, we have incremental new money that comes into the state budget because the revenues are growing, and maybe that's the way
So you favor a wholesale gas tax?
I think that's what fixes.
Which has an inflationary factor which automatically would raise new money without a legislative vote.
Well, and let's go back to the last time that we went in and raised gas tax per gallon. If we'd have done it then, we'd have about $900 million more every year. So that should be one of the factors.
So John Engler made a mistake?
No, it just wasn't seen that was the right thing to do at that time. You know what it is. That was the number he could get to get the votes.
What in the short term, does coming up with money to fix roads in this season trump some kind of a tax rollback?
The consensus, I think, would be that would be yes. I think that I've had unsolicited, and as with many of my colleagues, you're at Myers or you're at church and your friends come up to you and they say, don't send me back $75, fix my road.
And you agree with that?
And I would agree with that. I think that's the way we need to do that. We also have to remember we have $30 billion of unfunded liability. Lots of stuff out there on our credit card that we got to pay sometime. So we got to make sure we're being responsible, paying down our debt. And if you believe in Dave Ramsey at all, the more you pay down your debt, the bigger your cash snowball gets, and you have more opportunities to do some of those things.
You want to change term limits?
I think term limits have been a disservice. I'll be honest. I voted for them. But if you ask people now, I think they would say the opportunity maybe to change them could be there. But I think there should be limits. And I fully expect that I'll go out under the term limits of which I came in. I don't want to change it for me. I think we should prospectively look at it doing it differently.
Would you how would you design it? What would the new term limit scheme look like?
I was at the time a number of years ago when I was a House member. I was more favorable to the chamber proposal where you could serve. I think it was 14 years in either
chamber,
something like that.
Yeah.
Because that would give you an opportunity to do, I think, some longer term work, build those relationships. Maybe the key to the term limit thing is term limiting the chair of elections and some of those other things. And we are the closest to the people. And when there's something wrong with state government, guess what? They don't call the governor's office and they don't call the judicial branch. They call our office. And if we're able to assist and help, and if you're going to restrict or reduce some of that, it makes it a little bit more difficult, I think. So the current one has a lot of flaws.
If the state were to look at the part-time legislature proposal, would you want to see term limits looked at in conjunction with
Yeah,
that?
I would. If we were just going to go to wipe it out and say we're going to go to part-time, I would take term limits completely off. The amount of learning curve that's there's no curve. It's a straight line up. Is difficult. And if you're going to be a House member for only 6 years, but only serve 3 months every year for those 6 years, that's pretty tough.
Is Mr. Kelly in trouble vis-a-vis the Tea Party?
No, I'm endorsing him. He's doing a great job, and he will have the votes that he needs in the primary.
The Tea Party says he's not. The Tea Party says he's not conservative enough.
Yeah,
that's what they say.
Well, there's lots of folks in the Tea Party movement in which I agree. They're for limited government. They're for controlling spending and things like that. I'm really all with them, and my ideas align with them. The folks that are just no or no for no's sake, or we're just going to throw grenades under the tent all the time because we don't like one particular aspect, that's not very helpful. They're not bringing any solutions. So I would say Brian's going to be fine.
Very good. Senator, good to see you.
Thank you.
Good luck on your pursuit of the majority position.
Your words, not mine.
Oh, okay. Just checking.